Together after a fire destroys a nursing home and an investigation begins into an early morning house fire in Columbus. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, community leaders recognize acts of bravery in the face of a fire that destroyed a nursing home in Yates Center, Kansas. Plus, a special agent will investigate a house fire in Columbus, Kansas, and
a successful splashdown. I'm Cristian Benavides along Florida's Gulf Coast, where astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore returned after their unexpected 9-month odyssey in space.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Community leaders in Yates Center, Kansas hold a press conference today highlighting the heroic bravery of the nursing home staff and first responders during a massive fire there last Friday. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Lonnie Walton sat down with staff members who were at the Yates Center Health and Rehab facility to share their experience.
I was like, I'm going outside. So I opened the door early, I ran outside and I'm like, it's really smoky.
Carly Stinnen and Jocelyn Miller are healthcare workers at Yates Center Health and Rehab. They recount the moments they first saw smoke.
Everybody's taking action. We're like, we have to go. We have to get everybody get together and we got to run.
The back, the office people in the back just running to their cars and saying, get out, get out, get out.
And that's exactly what they did, according to Johnny Atkin, Director of Emergency Management for Woodson County. He says it was like the whole town was there to support them.
Mutual aid response came from across the state, with fire crews arriving from as far away as Topeka, Olathe, Overland Park, Johnson County, and Kansas City, Kansas.
And if you want to help, local leader says you can also.
Make out checks payable to Mission Health Communities to P.O. Box 265, Yates Center, Kansas 66783.
Atkins says he is proud of his community.
We are standing here today having prevented an even greater tragedy. I am humbled by the selflessness of those who ran towards the fire, by the outpouring of support from near and far, and by the way this community pulled together in our moment of crisis.
The thought was, get out the door, get out the door. And that's all that kept going through my brain and keeping the people in their chairs and getting them out as safely as possible.
Reporting in Yates Center, Kansas, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The cause of the fire has not been determined, and investigation is underway to see if there was any foul play. Local authorities have requested a special agent to investigate the fire that destroyed a Columbus house today. A home on Parmenter Avenue in Columbus was engulfed in flames when fire crews arrived around 3:40 this morning. Fire's glow was seen from blocks away. Crews immediately focused on saving the neighboring home as intense winds pushed the fire into it. This image was taken from inside that neighboring house, from outside on the porch actually. The house where the fire started is destroyed, but the neighbor's house was saved and no one was injured.
Rush. So I wasn't quite sure, what I was feeling at the time. All I know is that I was focused on getting my family and my brother out of the house before anything else came to our house.
I was proud of him for waking us up. He came in there, hey, get up, get out of the house. He said, the house next door to us is on fire, and it was pretty bad. Our back end of our house caught on fire too. The south side of it did.
Neighbors say the home that burned had just sold. Columbus Fire and Rescue expressed thanks to all the agencies that assisted. It's windy out there still. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us with a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, very warm, very windy for us today. 80 for an afternoon high. 61 is our average, so well above. Plus, our winds were gusting 40 to 50. Look at this. We're still 70 right now, but we're on the downhill slide. We don't even really have a high temperature tomorrow except at midnight because we continue to slide. So temperatures will drop about another 10 degrees until we get to the morning hours. Look at these strong southerly winds, sustained 15 to 20, but we're still getting those gusts, 35, 40, 45 at times. Plus, on top of that, we have the fire weather warnings in effect, the wind advisories in effect tonight and tomorrow. And if we look toward the west, here's the development of our upper level low. Look at this little patch really just west of Oklahoma City. That's not clouds, that's dust, which is going to be heading toward us again. So very dusty to start. What about some snow? We'll look at that here in a bit.
See you soon. The Inspire Health Foundation, Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, and Greenbush are offering a medical spring break camp. It ends Thursday at the John Perolo Education Center on Pittsburgh North Campus. Camp sessions are tailored by age. Kindergarten through second grade was today, third through fifth grade tomorrow, sixth through eighth grade on Thursday, running from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Our goal is to really inspire kids and spark an interest in healthcare careers, because especially in rural communities, we're facing a huge shortage of healthcare providers, doctors and nurses. So if we can encourage kids and help them believe in themselves and see themselves in their local healthcare system, that's a win for us.
Students engage in hands-on activities and experiments to explore the inner workings of the human body and learn about health career paths. 2 U.S. astronauts are back on solid ground tonight after spending an unexpectedly long stay aboard the International Space Station. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams spent more than 9 months in space. Reporter Christian Benavides is in Clearwater, Florida with the latest on their journey home.
A high-altitude plane caught these first images of the SpaceX Dragon's freefall back to Earth. Parachutes cut its speed before the capsule splashed down at a gentle 15 miles per hour off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida. Back on Earth after 9 months in space, NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, along with another U.S. astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut.
On behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
Minutes later, the recovery team began arriving at the splashdown zone, followed by a curious pod of dolphins.
Brace for capsule lift.
The Dragon then hoisted aboard a ship.
Some waves, some thumbs up, and some smiles.
Where the crew cheered as they helped Williams and Wilmore out of the capsule.
Ignition.
The pair began their mission back in June, launching into space aboard the first human flight for a Boeing Starliner. They made it to the ISS, but the spacecraft developed propulsion problems and, for safety, left with no one on board. What was supposed to be an 8-day trip became a 9-month stay, the duo orbiting the Earth more than 4,500 times.
I don't think we're stuck up here. We've got food, we've got clothes, we have a ride home in case anything really bad does happen to the International Space Station.
Williams and Wilmore are now undergoing medical evaluations, and NASA says it will be looking closely at how their bodies changed during one of the longest stays aboard the ISS.
NASA officials say that extra time enabled Williams to get the spacewalk record for a woman. She and Wilmore also put in nearly 1,000 hours of research, conducting 150 experiments.
And the work we do on the International Space Station benefits the nation, benefits people on Earth, and are the building blocks for going back to the moon and to Mars.
They're now on their way to Houston and expected to meet up with their families in a few days for a homecoming, more than 9 months in the making. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Clearwater, Florida.
According to NASA, the astronauts will undergo an immediate medical screening by a flight surgeon, a standard step for astronauts finishing long-duration missions. A bond issue could bring some changes to the Galena School District. That story is coming up. Plus, more teens around our nation are interested in vocational classes, but does that actually pay off?
Massive used car inventories.
The best used car selection and savings are only at Roper Honda.
The Galena, Kansas School District hopes to make some improvements to their schools with a $7.5 million bond issue on next month's ballot. The funds would go toward numerous projects, including upgrading Liberty Elementary. If passed, Liberty Elementary would get an elevator replacement, a covered walkway along east of the high school, and HVAC replacement. They'd fix their roof and improve the gym. Funding would also go toward new early childhood spaces at Spring Grove, and the Gene Russell building would be remodeled for new special education spaces. These upgrades would not increase the mill levy.
The elevator replacement, I think, would probably be a good priority for our handicapped students, since that is the only way that they can get downstairs if they take art. We only have one art teacher, and she is located downstairs in the elementary.
The deadline to register to vote in Kansas is midnight tonight, so you can technically still register online. To learn more, visit our website, koamnewsnow.com. An interest in skilled trades is rising among teenagers, and there's a job market waiting to welcome them. Christian Benavides takes us to one Florida high school bringing back vocational classes.
Students at Riverview High School's Construction Academy in Sarasota are nailing it. For many, including 17-year-old Allison Newcomb, this hands-on experience may lead straight to a career rather than college.
You know that you definitely want to work in the trades.
Yes, most definitely. College, it puts a damper on things for some kids. Like my sister, she's struggling paying for her tuition.
Between 2003 and 2023, the average annual cost for tuition and fees at a public four-year college shot up 141%. That rise, coupled with a labor shortage, led to the creation of this in-demand vocational program.
There's the opportunities for those that don't want to go to college to go right into apprenticeship programs, earn a living, learn a trade, and be able to have a successful career.
Teacher Jeff Lapandera also runs his own cabinetry business.
How hard is it to find qualified people out there?
As an employer, it's very difficult.
The Associated Builders and Contractors Trade Group is forecasting a shortage of about 500,000 construction workers this year.
Southwest Florida builder Neil Communities found it so difficult to hire workers, the company has donated more than $60,000 to the academy.
We're seeing the older generation, in their 60s and their 70s starting to retire, and we're seeing them having issues hiring entry-level workers as well as continue the management pipeline.
While studies show higher earnings for college graduates, an industry survey found more than 80% of those working in construction are making yearly salaries above $65,000. 18-year-old Landon Hissung says he's ready to get to work right after graduation.
My dad just got done paying off his college debt, and that's one thing I don't want to get into. I just want to start making money.
Here Hissung's learning the skills to forge his own path. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Sarasota, Florida.
And there are plenty of trade schools right here in the four-state area, including WTI and Franklin Tech in Joplin, Carthage Technical Center in Carthage, and SEKCTEC in Pittsburgh, to name a few. A little later, a Joplin nonprofit rolls out a fundraiser that puts somebody behind the wheel of a classic muscle car.
Plus, the winds are sticking around. The temperature is dropping. Could we see some snow? We're going to look at that coming up.
Save big money at Menards.
Well, of course, a very warm, windy day for us today. Temperatures near record highs, right around 80 degrees. We should be topping out right around 60 for this time of the year. Looks good right now. Nice shop. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just outside Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at all the advisories, mainly due to fire and wind, sticking around once again for us tonight until you hit the winter weather advisories up across central parts of Kansas. Huge switch. We're in the 50s this weekend, 80 today. Chance for snow as we get really 24 hours from now. Southerly winds still kicking in at about 15 to 20. Sustained, but we're getting those higher gusts, 35, 40, 45, pushing 50 at times. They're going to increase again. You can see the gusts picking back up in our western counties, and that's due to our dry line heading toward us, so that will peak our winds out late tonight, kind of midnight to probably 4 a.m.-ish, our strongest winds, but it's also going to shove in a good chunk of dust into the region. Westerly winds tomorrow, then northwesterly winds, strong all day, gusts 40 to 45, and then finally by Thursday morning, our gusts down to 30. By Thursday evening, pretty much calm winds. Look at our temperatures sitting near 70, but it's only down from this point on. In fact, we never go up tomorrow. We just keep falling as we go through the entire day. Sitting right now, 70 degrees. You can see those gusts, latest gust at 33 miles per hour. All right, so you can see this little clear slot right in here. Here's our upper level low that is developing. All this mess right down in here, that is dust, which is pushing in. Then there's also dust here, Oklahoma City. You just can't see it on this satellite picture. So if you wake up in the morning and your cars are all dirty, that's why. Very strong upper level low is strengthening, and this is our third one over the past 2 weeks. It doesn't have the severe weather with it like we have seen, especially last Friday and Saturday, but it is a wind maker and will be a snow maker. By morning, dropping into the upper 50s, clouds increase. By noon, near 50, dropping through the 40s, rain increasing, periods of showers. Here's 3 p.m. Now we're down near 40. As we get to about 6 p.m., we're going to be into the mid to upper 30s. Rain switches over to snow. Now, it's going to have to come down in buckets to really accumulate. Why? It was 80 today. Plus, when it snows tomorrow, temperature is going to be into the mid to upper 30s. But it could come down heavy enough that it gets a little white on the grass. So it'll probably melt very quickly. Bands of light snow tomorrow evening, pushing out eventually by Thursday morning, near freezing. But Thursday afternoon, nice rebound, partly sunny skies as we go back into the mid 50s. So snowfall potential is going to be very hard to accumulate. So right now we're going to go minor accumulations, dusting, maybe a quarter of an inch. It may just melt as it falls, so we'll have to kind of watch it tomorrow. But we drop all day long with our temperatures, but we do rebound on Friday back into the mid 60s. All right, let's go 58, but dropping. Most of the day tomorrow in the 40s. 55 on Thursday, 65 Friday. Look at this, big turnaround. We're talking Saturday, 68 degrees. So 80 today, talking snow tomorrow, talking 70 and sunny on Saturday with thunderstorms Saturday.
I'm loving the temps. And when you talk about snow tomorrow, you're talking about a little. It's not going to stick around.
It may come down for a pretty good clip, though.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Doug. A nonprofit in southwest Missouri put a winning bidder in the driver's seat of this cool car. Rafa House in Joplin supports survivors of trafficking and sexual abuse, and much of that support comes through raising funds. Well, today, the nonprofit auctioned off this modified and remodeled 1972 Ford Gran Torino Sport. It's named Roxanne, and that was part of the goal. The muscle car was originally a passion project, but the owner felt Rafa House would benefit more from it.
So we have this amazing partner in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, and he had this passion project, this 1972 Gran Torino Sport that several years ago he just decided really belonged to the children of Rafa International. And so this has been a labor of love for him over many years.
Rafa International started in Cambodia back in 2003. The Rafa Hope and Health Center in Joplin, it opened in 2020. Still ahead, Pitt State women's basketball finds out who its opponent is for the Elite Eight, and the Gorilla baseball team tries to win its 4th game in a row. John Dale says those stories and more up next in sports.
CPA.
Pittsburgh State women's basketball is headed to Pittsburgh, the one in Pennsylvania, and this comes after the Gorillas' victory in the Sweet 16 last night. Then this morning, the NCAA releases its bracket for the final 3 rounds of the tournament. Here's a look at that bracket. Now, because teams are initially seeded 1 to 8 in each region, after the regional finals, all the champions then get reseeded by the Division II Selection Committee prior to the Elite Eight. Pittsburgh State is the number 4 seed, and the Gorillas will face Lubbock Christian in the Elite Eight. They haven't seen them this year. In fact, PSU hasn't played against any of the 7 other remaining teams. All 4 of the Elite Eight games will happen at UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse on Monday afternoon into the evening. The Gorillas have the last game of the night. They're scheduled to face Lubbock Christian at 7:30 Central. The Lady Chaps were the number 2 seed in the South Central region. They beat Texas Women's University in the regional final. Of course, we're going to have a lot more on that game leading up to Monday. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh State baseball continues its homestand this afternoon. The Gorillas swept Northwest Missouri in 3 games over the weekend. Pitt State baseball with a non-conference game against Southwest Baptist this afternoon. And the wind howling in Pittsburgh, that had come into play in this one. Gorillas behind 4-0. In the bottom of the first, Dagan Brewer crushes this one to deep center. That is gone into the batter's eye after trailing. Pitt State scores 5 in the first, but then trails 8-5 in the bottom of the second. Once again, their bats heat up. Caden Williams with a base hit into right field. 2 runs have come in to score. Gorillas now up 9-8. We're still in the second. Here's Brewer, who hit the home run in the first. He sends this one all the way to the warning track. It's a 2 RBI double. The Gorillas score 14 in the first 2 innings of the game, and they're not finished there. Now to the third. Ricky Sanchez drills one into the gap in left center. That brings another couple of runs across the plate. The Gorillas score 25 runs in the first 3 innings of the game. This one ends up looking like a football final score. Pitt State wins 31-12 after just 7 innings. And over in Wichita, Missouri Southern baseball also with a final score that looks like it came from a football game. Lions beat Newman 25-24. This one went 12 innings. Ethan Clark goes 3 for 8 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 7 runs batted in, and Blake Jones goes 1 for 3 with a double and 5 RBI. Now, today's also the unofficial start to March Madness. The NCAA men's basketball tournament has its first 2 play-in games tonight in Dayton. And in a battle of a couple of 16 seeds, Alabama State beats St. Francis 70-68 with a game-winning layup with just 1 second left. It's the first NCAA tournament win in school history for the Hornets. They'll play 1 seed Auburn on Thursday. Then North Carolina absolutely throttling San Diego State in the second game of the night. It's not over yet, but as we come on the air, the Tar Heels lead 85-48 late in the second half. Back to those baseball games with all those runs. You total up all the runs from those 2 games, 92 from the 2 games combined. That's insane.
Doesn't sound like baseball.
Doesn't at all.
Sure, that sounds like too much for football, in fact. We'll be right back.
At Ashley, we're selling.
It's not technically spring just yet, but boy, the weather sure feels like it, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, 80 degrees today. We were near record highs across the region. Our temperatures are dropping now, still in the 70s, but we never go back up tomorrow. We just go down all day long. We'll start near 60, end up in the 30s. Showers moving in, mixing with a very wet snow tomorrow evening. The ground, of course, is super warm, but we may get a little accumulation on the grass.
And then I'm thinking, I'm hoping, I'm betting that this will be the last snow of the season. Okay, enough said. Final sports notes.
Pitt State softball is back in the national polls. The Gorillas are ranked number 25 in the country. They play a doubleheader tomorrow.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.